Chapter 2 Episode 12, Monster Extermination at the Mines, End of Day 1. That should do it. After I set enough countermeasures against the unruly adventurer's escape, I got ready to go call for help when two sets of footsteps approached. I was a little wary of more enemies, but I soon relaxed. It seems thou has already settled things. As Sajai. Leapin. What are you two doing here? A panicked youngling came crying for help, stating they had been cornered by a group of ill-natured adventurers and left someone behind to hold them off. Those kids must have called for help, huh? He mentioned slimes, so I got to thinking. So it was you after all, Ryoma. I'm glad you're safe. VV had happened over there. It doesn't seem like the other party is dead. Though there is no movement. The two said, looking at the adventurers I restrained. In order to prevent the unruly adventurers from fleeing when I left, and to also act as their treatment, their limbs had been fitted with a plaster of sticky slime hardening solution over splints, and a mouth gag made of stone with breathing holes had been inserted into their mouths, before I paralyzed them with poison to restrict movement. Finally, to prevent them from being attacked by monsters, I made my slimes surround them as guards. But there may have been a few too many. They look like they've been buried alive. I shall watch over here. Ryoma, thou should move the slimes and return to the reception. Jeff and the others await you. Oh. In that case, I should hurry. I shall go make a report too. I'll bring you with me with my magic. I took Leapin up on his word. Despite being slightly surprised by them, I quickly moved all my slimes back into the dimension home. I was truly late right now. Thus, after returning to the reception and explaining everything to the receptionist, I was ordered to return to work. I passed the guildmaster on my way out and was told I'd be informed of my penalty later. And so, what I had to do now was... I'm sorry for being late. I apologized to the 5 people in my party for my tardiness. They had heard the situation already, so no one was really angry and just teased me a little. Then, after work, as adventurers piled into the return carriages one after another, I was summoned by the guildmaster. You're here. Well, have a seat. The guildmaster urged me into a chair of the temporary reception, looking a little haggard. Whatever the penalty was, it was a consequence of my actions. Would it be serious? Just so you know, there's no penalty for you. So you don't need to look so prepared for the worst. You mean I'm being acquitted? You consider the safety of the kids being picked on and determined it was too dangerous to leave them and call for help. No. In reality, the kids only got away unharmed thanks to you. The testimonies the 6 of them gave to the reception matched yours. As for Sajai and the others, well, you were a little over the top with the restraints, but it can pass if you consider it was for their own safety. Your tardiness was excused for the legitimate reason of helping others. And so, you have no blame in any of this. It's not like you want to take a penalty for fun, right? That was true, but why was the guildmaster so worn out then? And also, about Sajai. This is another one of the reasons why you're not to blame. They weren't to be trusted. You mean their claims were inconsistent? Even before that, up until last year they were a gang of ruffians. Up until last year? I felt there was a deeper meaning to that. You wouldn't be able to tell now, but Sajai used to be an earnest and skilled leader in the past. I couldn't picture it at all, but as I listened silently to the continuation, I learned that Sajai's behavior started after he became C rank. It's quite a wall for adventurers to advance from rank C to B, with most never making it past C. As the standstill continued, Sajai gradually lost his will. In order to advance ranks, his demands of his friends grew higher, and with alcohol and infighting thrown in, he went through quite a rough period. Then he suddenly grouped up with new adventurers. And not those of the good sort. Ever since, he had been hiding his bad behavior, until today. The guys that caused nothing but problems stopped causing problems, and they seemed to be getting stronger and achieving more steady results. I doubted it at first, But I gradually began to believe Sachai had turned over a new leaf and was helping the youths grow. Well, it turned out he just got better at hiding it. It's a shame. Did he feel like he was betrayed by someone he trusted? Or nearly trusted? I should. If he hadn't believed in Sachai, he wouldn't have felt sad even if he doubted them at first. Watching over them for a long time would cause lingering attachments. His own expectations had grown, and by the time he noticed it there was nothing but loss. It was something that repeatedly happened, and was quite hard to get used to. What's that strangely warm 100K for? One day, resignation will come first and make things easier. I didn't say it out loud, but it showed in my eyes. I feel like you're trying to encourage me, but my fatigue is due to you as well, you know. If any trouble happens while you're on the job, I have to report it to the Duke. My next report's not gonna be fun. Now he's worried about the unreasonable demands of those in power. I guess the guildmaster had many worries too. The Duke's family was concerned with everything to do with me. After all, they weren't the type of people to make demands over small things like this, but I could understand the concern. You're not even an adult yet. Just what happened in your past? I could feel clear pity in his gaze. Anyway, discussion with the Duke aside, the guild and myself have determined there are no issues involving you. That's all I had to say. You can leave now. If here's anything you're unhappy with, reflect upon it yourself. Thank you. With that wrapped up, I left. News of what happened had spread through the square while everyone was waiting for the carriages, prompting many adventurers to let me cut in line, figuring I was tired. Thanks to that, I was able to get on a carriage early and reflect on the afternoon. I didn't have a shred of regret about defeating Sachai and his gang, but before everything went down I had felt a great sense of irritation. While there was a necessity to my actions, had I not thrown my fist out of anger? Even when I thought about it, I didn't know. In other words, I couldn't deny it outright. Am I a child? No. I'm a 42-year-old man in a child's body. A rational adult. Did I possess rationality? Elle wouldn't say I had none, but there was a chance I could be provoked into a rampage. Would I punch anyone that bothered me? Would I punch anyone I disliked? If so, that would make me no different to those unruly adventurers. I had plenty of skill and strength, but there seemed to be a problem with my mentality. Thinking back on it now, I haven't changed since I came to this world. I secluded myself in a forest, avoided social interactions like my past life, and lived like that. Then I met Reinhardt and his family. If I hadn't met them, I may have extended my stay in the forest forever. Ever since meeting them, I've done nothing but rely on them. They prepared my accommodation and food, welcoming me warmly. Was I being spoiled? Looking back on the things that had happened since coming to this world, I avoided everything I disliked, never suffered hardship, and have been spoiled by the kindness of the Duke's family since. This wouldn't do. At this rate, I'd become a terrible person. All the battle capabilities I had over normal people just made it worse. Was grateful to the Duke's family, but I needed to leave them for a bit. I needed to train myself over from the start. It would do no good for me to continue being cared for by them. I needed independence. Until now, I had spent much time thinking about how I could ever thank them enough, but even I considered it shameless for someone still relying on them for food and shelter to think about paying them back. I spent a long time pondering over it on the way back to town, reaching a conclusion by the time I arrived at the inn.